Right, we'll get started. Okay, so what I am here to talk about today is a issue that is quite commonplace actually, more so than you might well imagine. We're going to be looking at solving the challenges of email signature management. So a little bit about myself. My name is James Wayne. I am the head of product specialists at Exclaimer. I've been in that role for 3 years or so, and as part of that, I've been directly involved with assisting around about 1,000 organizations implement one of our solutions to finally get their email signatures into check. What I hope to do today is give you some insights into what things you can do to actually solve this problem, one of which is perhaps a solution that we sell. Before I do, I want to take a second to thank all of the sponsors here today that have made this event possible. Without these people here, events like this can't take place, and I, for one, have very much enjoyed getting back into the swing of networking, being around peers who have got excellent knowledge to share. So what I'd like to start with is a little bit of information about who Exclaimer are. Exclaimer, we sell signature solutions. That's what we do. It's our bread and butter. It's what we know best. We've been doing that for 20 years, so we're very much experts in this particular area. Some key stats about us. Well, we're the global category leader for email signature solutions. We have a very high customer satisfaction rating. We've been around for 20 years, as I mentioned, first to market with an email signature solution. So we very much pioneered the technology here too. We've served over 40,000 customers worldwide in 160 countries, both IT and marketing professionals we interact with on a daily basis, understanding their needs. Cloud. We do sell it for a number of email services, specifically here Office 365, Microsoft 365, signatures for Exchange, and signatures for G Suite Google Workspace too. But before we start to address how we solve email signatures, let's talk just for a second about email signature strategy itself. I like to split email signature strategy into two constituent parts. We have to understand both to understand how we can best solve the problem. The first part is the email signature policy itself. And this is really everything to do with the look and feel of email signatures. This would be the content, the marketing banners, the social media buttons, the awards, the one-click surveys that we include, the styling of that signature, where we find the branding, the fonts, the colors, everything that is synonymous with our organization. Who has access to which signature? So we segment our signatures across the business. On what emails those signatures are used, are we doing different things with our internal signatures versus our external? Are we having different signatures for our replies, so forth? And when each signature is used. We can actually really use email signatures as a communications channel, tie it into our marketing campaigns, use it for promotional activities, and do that at scheduled points in time. Events like this, you can have your email signature, if you want, promoting your attendance. You can have your email signature highlighting a sale, or a survey, or some outreach that you're doing, a charity event, anything really. And it's going to be effective because of the high volume of recipients you know are going to be reading your emails. Ultimately, a signature policy is about two things: avoiding risk and maximizing opportunity. If we talk about the risks that we definitely can avoid with a good signature policy, inconsistent branding definitely features at the top of that list. We can secure our branding with an email signature and position it in the best light within our market. We also avoid prevent non-compliant emails that might otherwise be sent that do actually perhaps represent significant risk to the business if we're caught where we shouldn't be. We can check for incorrect and outdated information. There's nothing quite as embarrassing as having outdated information in a signature. People not able to contact you because the wrong channels are being represented, or perhaps incorrect job titles because somebody's decided to give themselves a promotion. All in all, we're going to avoid that unprofessional look that otherwise might be the case. And when we look at the opportunity, there is significant value here too. As I mentioned, we can definitely strengthen the brand and its position in the market by getting this right. Really place it front and center in your outreach and improve its efficacy. We can drive engagement, reach more people when we're using that commonly used communications channel. Increase core metrics within the business. Key things like sales revenue, lead generation, conversions, and customer satisfaction. And finally, and this is something really close to our hearts at Exclaimer, we can transform signatures into a communications channel. It's not just about consistency here. If we can get consistency right, we can use the signature to do more. So what's the other half of our equation? Once we've got our policy, it becomes important to understand how to best enforce it. What is our mechanism to put those signatures we've identified as needing into place? Well, before we evaluate some ways of doing that, let's think about what's important here. We want to hopefully avoid any unnecessary actions for end users. If it's too complicated for them to implement their own signatures, it's likely not going to happen, or we're going to end up with inconsistencies anyway. We also want to ensure we've got those accurate user details in place too. Without that, it all falls apart. And finally, we want true consistency. Today, we don't just use Outlook on Windows. It's Outlook for web. It's our mobile devices. It's our tablets. We all work remotely, out on the road. We've got different licenses. So consistency everywhere is vital. And if we consider ease of use, ideally, again, we don't want this to be a complicated solution to manage. In an ideal situation, this would be, whatever option we choose, something perhaps even marketing themselves could own. IT can implement, and then it's over to marketing to do the heavy lifting. That's going to involve no coding, wherever we can avoid it, and no admin access to important resources like domain controllers, Exchange servers, and Exchange Online admin centers. So let's look at some of the options. Of course, we could just go to the Outlook client. There's settings there, of course. Why not there? VB scripts, we encounter that all the time. Let's just use scripts. Transport rules on the Exchange server or an Exchange Online. And finally, we've got the Exclaimer Cloud solution here too. Looking at each, you will see that actually some of these solutions just do not suffice in the ways you might expect. The Outlook client, fantastic at ease of use. Everyone's familiar with that, even end users. But you're not going to get the effectiveness of deploying your strategy. It isn't going to avoid unnecessary users. In most times we see this, it's instructions sent to the users that are getting the signatures into these settings. And they will not follow those instructions. Let me tell you, I've seen it time and time again. Anecdotally, I've seen things like pictures of pets, made up job titles, a quote of the week, nonsense that you just wouldn't want on your professional signature. When we move to VB scripts, things start to look a bit better. Okay, now we've got all that effectiveness starting to show itself, but all of that ease of use has dropped out of the floor. Now we're going to need coding. Now we're going to need access to the domain controller. We're going to need to understand GPO. And now marketing cannot be directly involved, which ultimately is going to improve how we use signatures. If we look at transport rules, the same is true here. the effectiveness we start to reach. And you can see here all of those ticks. Unfortunately, it isn't the case that we always get the signature everywhere because you can only apply HTML signatures. And you also quite typically end up, and I'm sure you've seen this, with all of those signatures stacked up at the bottom of the email. Doesn't look great. So whilst it's nearly close to what we want, again, that ease of use lets us down. So this is where we come in and why Exclaimer Cloud offers such significant value to our customers. Because you get both. You get the effectiveness of a deployment mechanism where everything that you want is achievable without any stress or difficulty. This solution can be implemented in less than an hour. I do it on the routine, trust me. So let's take a look at it in a little bit more detail. How do we deploy the signatures? Well, there are two different ways we can do that. One is through integration with Outlook still. But rather than have to worry about VB scripts, having to worry about going to each machine individually, we can use a deployment mechanism to make signatures available there automatically. You choose which users need access to which signatures, and the users will get them. It preserves a very traditional end-user experience. We're going to see that signature. That signature is going to be in place when we compose the email. We're going to send it with it attached. Conversely, we also have a server-side deployment. That's direct integration with the mail route. Specifically Exchange Online, that's what I'm going to showcase, but it also works with local on-premise Exchange too. Here, by integrating with the mail route itself, we can touch everything. Even mobile phones, even tablets, even CRM systems. As long as that email is going to process through the email service, we're going to serve a signature to it. The best news is that you can use both of these deployment methods at the same time. So you don't have to make a choice, you're getting the best of both worlds. This is what an email signature might look like in Outlook. You can see here the email signature in place on our new email, but you can also see on the side there a choice of signature between the internal signature and the forwards and replies. These signatures are set as defaults. You will note the little orange icons above the first two signatures. One says the new signature, the other the forwards and reply. And when we look at server side, this is a direct integration with the mail route, but perhaps not in the traditional sense. You might be used to SmartHost being MTAs and having to be a link in the chain. What we do is we do take receipt of that email to apply a signature for about 3 seconds on average. So the delay is insignificant. And we return that email then with its signature back to Exchange Online, back to the email service. So if there are, therefore, security tools that are used as the gateway, or archiving solutions that are archiving the email, those services still work. You still get those emails protected, served in all of the other ways that you need. Ultimately, this is what ensures every email signature that you design is applied to the emails that they need to be. So that's how deployment works. What I want to show you, that's the effectiveness side of this all. When we talk about ease of use, though, you need a way of actually managing these signatures in a space that even marketing could go access on a weekly basis and implement the signatures that they need to. So I'm actually going to now switch over to a bit of a live demonstration of that. So bear with me whilst I switch across. Here we go. So this is the Exclaimer Cloud portal. It's accessed online. Sign in with Microsoft. It's that simple. No installation necessary for any signature designer or manager. And I sign in. You can have as many accounts in your organization as you need. We access our signatures, and we might even segment our signatures right here. like I have, into different folders for different brands, different departments, different organizations, different offices, different territories. Obviously, the list goes on. These folders are great at not only segmenting the business in understandable ways, but also protecting certain signatures if they need protecting. Remember, we can give multiple users access to this portal, so it may well be that we want certain people to be able to only manage the marketing team's signatures, for example, and I've got a security option on the folder that allows exactly that. Okay, head of marketing, go wild. Design your marketing signatures. Junior marketeer, you're not ready yet. You're not getting access. We know what you'll do. You'll mess it up. So that is a very nice thing for larger organizations to protect the signatures that are a little bit more sensitive. Now, inside the folder, you can see some examples of some signatures. So right here at the top of my list, ta-da, it's already that time of year. We're going to be thinking about Christmas. Here's our Christmas signature. I will note that that was designed way back in June. We knew that was going to be a campaign. We knew we were going to need that signature. Let's design it now, one less thing to think about. And what we've done there, we've just managed the signature in terms of a date and time trigger. Here's our start date, here's our end date, signature applies between those dates, jobs are good. We don't have to worry about that at all. When the time comes, it's automatically going to apply. As well, if we go back to that folder, we can look at reply signatures. So here's my reply signature. I obviously only want that to apply when I am carrying on a conversation, and I don't need the full signature that I would otherwise use, either the main or the Christmas. And finally here, I've got an internal signature. And we can actually assign recipients to our signature, and that targets the signature towards specific audiences. We could even, in instances where we work quite closely with a distributor or a partner or perhaps a vendor that we have a really close tie with, and we want to present certain messaging directly targeted at those types of people, or even conversely, we want to exclude those people because we want to prevent them from seeing certain things. We can do this, we can target, and it allows us to be very intelligent with the marketing messaging that we include. So those are things that we can do. We're always going to apply our signature to the necessary people. We're always going to assign the signature based on perhaps Active Directory group membership or based on specific Active Directory attributes. And we will always enable the signature, enabling it for one of the two deployment methods or both. The last thing I want to show you today is exactly how email signatures are designed. So I'm going to show you how our main signature here was created. Let me just reload this. Apologies. The internet has been the bane of everyone's existence today, I'm sure. Let's try that again. You know what? I'm going to reload the entire portal. I'm feeling spicy. Well, now I've just previewed the sign in with Microsoft feature, so there you go. You're getting extra. Okay, let's move away from this older interface that we're leaving behind. Okay. Nearly back to where we were. Yay, there we go. So, what you're seeing here, you've got the canvas of our design here. You've got a preview of the signature down below. That's real time, so if I make changes, that is going to be updated. We've got all the components we can add to our signature, and over here on the right-hand side, you can see where we can edit specific details in more granular ways. So let's say we want to update the banner. Well, because this is drag and drop, and again, we want this to be marketing friendly, I can just drag our banner out of our design, grab a new banner, drag that in, upload our new banner from our computer. There's my new banner. There it is. Add it in. There it is. You can see that's added in the real-time preview. I'm going to add a hyperlink to it so it can be clickable. Everything in the signature can be made clickable. I can resize it too. And I can align it as I wish. And basically everything that you see within this design you can customize in all the ways you might need. You can see font families, sizing, colors, that's all hexadecimal codes. You can realize the specific signature that you need. And just looking at this example, you can see some of the content that we would look to include perhaps. A one-click survey, our social media buttons, awards, certificates, disclaimers, all of that Active Directory information that we're pulling across, a booking meeting link, a user photo, all that branding too. This is a powerful way of getting messaging out there because that's at high volume that scales with your business. The more emails you send, the more people that see this. So guys, that's been the presentation for today. If this has evoked in you any interest in learning more, whether to use it internally or offer it alongside your other offerings, your Microsoft 365 licenses, do come and say hello. We're going to be over on our stand for a little while longer, a few more minutes. Come say hi. We won't bite. And if you're too busy today, don't worry. On our website, you can access a 14-day trial. Go and use it. See what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback. And on that note, the last thing I have today is to say thank you. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by. If you have any feedback today on the presentation, we'd love to hear it. Just take a picture of that QR code that you see there, fill out the form. And I am just going to quickly remind you that there is a charity quiz that kicks off at 7 p.m. in the ballroom. That is in aid of breast cancer. And there are sponsored drinks at 5:30 in the Atrium Expo Hall too. But for today, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.